This mom demanded I sell my house to pay for her daughter's college. You won't believe the audacity of some people. My life was relatively normal until an entitled tenant tried to swindle me out of my hard-earned property. What started as a simple landlord-tenant relationship spiraled into a full-blown nightmare, complete with public shaming, online attacks, and a nasty court battle. Buckle up, because this is a wild ride of entitlement, lies, and the fight to protect what's rightfully mine. For context, I'm not rolling in inherited wealth. I come from a modest background. Both my parents worked blue-collar jobs to provide a decent life for my siblings and me. They always dreamed of owning their own home, something that fueled my ambition to create a better life for my own family. My wife and I met in college, both raised with similar values and a strong work ethic. We were determined to overcome financial hardships and build a secure future for our children. Over the years, we diligently bought and flipped properties, slowly accumulating a real estate portfolio that's now worth around $34 million in our hometown, including several homes. Each property represents years of relentless work and countless sacrifices. I'm now a proud father of a son and a daughter. And these properties not only provide income but also stand as a testament to our commitment to their future. Little did I know, a tenant named Emily, who had been renting a cozy 3-bedroom house from me for years, was about to turn my life upside down. The house is in a desirable area, conveniently located next to her daughter's high school. Emily, a single mother after her husband abruptly left, had been struggling financially, and I offered her subsidized rent to help her get back on her feet. I know I was losing money, but I wanted to give her and her daughter a chance. She had always been a reliable tenant, and our relationship was relatively informal. Then, 3 months ago, Emily dropped a bombshell. Her daughter, Lily, a high school senior, had been accepted into a prestigious out-of-state university, a huge achievement. However, the scholarship she received only covered a small fraction of the exorbitant tuition. Emily asked to meet, and I assumed it was about necessary house repairs. As we sat in the living room, she expressed her gratitude for my generosity but then revealed her shocking request. She wanted me to sell the house she was living in to pay for Lily's college education. She claimed the property would fetch a good price and cover all of Lily's expenses, including tuition and accommodation. I was completely stunned. "Are you serious?" I asked, incredulous. "You want me to sell my property to pay for your daughter's college tuition?" Emily pleaded, arguing that it was Lily's only chance and that the property would cover everything. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Have you lost your mind?" I retorted. "This house means a lot to me, and I'm not selling it for anything." Emily persisted, suggesting I loan her the money and Lily would repay me after graduation. While I value education, I refused to cave into her outrageous demands. I calmly explained that I couldn't simply give up the property as it was a significant part of my income and that I wasn't responsible for her daughter's tuition. I suggested exploring cheaper options or seeking help from family, but Emily wouldn't let it go. She insisted that I was the only one who could help and that selling the property was a small sacrifice for me. I told her to never bring it up again and to consider how absurd her request sounded. I hoped she'd see reason. But Emily continued her campaign over the next few weeks. The situation became unbearable. She pressured me daily to sell, even after I repeatedly refused. She even stopped paying her rent, as Emily became more convinced that my property was the solution to her problems. Our cordial relationship deteriorated. She believed my refusal was jeopardizing her daughter's future. However, I was losing money due to her unpaid rent, so I warned her that I would take her to court if she didn't comply. The tipping point came when Emily started involving other people. She spoke to her neighbors and friends, painting me as a heartless landlord who wouldn't help a young girl achieve her dreams. She emphasized her status as a struggling single mother and claimed that despite my wealth, I wouldn't lend her the money. Naturally, some sympathized with her story. Emily then took her campaign to social media, posting on Facebook and blaming me for Lily's failing future. Rumors spread, and I felt ostracized in my own neighborhood. My wife decided to intervene, hoping to resolve the situation through open communication. But Emily launched into a rant, insisting that the only way to secure Lily's future was for me to sell the house. My wife tried to reason with her, but Emily remained steadfast, accusing us of being selfish and claiming we had the money to pay for Lily's college. Her campaign had a visible impact on the community, portraying me as a wealthy and caring landlord. Neighbors who were once friendly now looked at us with suspicion, believing that I could ease Lily's financial burden but was deliberately refusing to do so. Others, who knew my background and the truth of my situation, were equally appalled by Emily's audacious request. The community became polarized. Despite the mounting pressure, I remained firm in my decision to protect my property. I had worked too hard and made too many sacrifices to give it up easily. Meanwhile, Emily continued to fuel the fire, accusing me of being insensitive and exploiting her by charging her rent. Her social media posts became more aggressive, highlighting Lily's hard work and sacrifices to prepare for college. The dispute escalated from a private matter to a public spectacle. My children began to suffer, facing bullying at school as classmates repeated the false accusations they had seen online. Seeing their distress was the final straw. I had remained silent, hoping Emily would eventually see reason. But it was time to set the record straight and defend my principles. I hired a lawyer specializing in landlord-tenant disputes and property law to stop Emily's smear campaign and protect my reputation. My lawyer sent a cease and desist letter, marking the beginning of our legal battle. Emily was shocked to receive it. She tried calling, but I refused to answer. Then, she texted, wanting to talk and make amends, claiming it was all a misunderstanding. I responded by saying I would sue her and she was going to regret ever trying to play me. Emily has been relentless in demanding I pay for her daughter's tuition, damaging my family's reputation in the community and online. I know this will be a difficult fight, but my attorney is preparing for the lawsuit and the damages she has caused us over the past few months. Some family members have suggested giving her a chance to resolve the matter, considering she's a single mother trying to do what's best for her child. So, am I the jerk for taking this entitled mother to court instead of selling my home to cover her daughter's college expenses? Update: in response to our legal action, Emily sent a letter of her own, filled with even more defamatory statements and threats. Despite knowing her financial situation, she accused me of charging exorbitant rent, preventing her from saving for Lily's education. Her willingness to lie and go to such lengths to achieve her goals is astonishing. I've already given her subsidized rent. It's infuriating to see her play the victim when her claims are baseless. She's clearly trying to exploit the situation, and I won't allow it. Emily's determined to fight to the end. As a parent, my attorney, Matthew, has reassured me that we have a strong case, but I can't help but feel overwhelmed by how quickly things have escalated. I never wanted to end up in court, especially with someone who once lived on my property. However, sometimes you have to defend what's rightfully yours and stand your ground. Even if Emily has good intentions, I can't let her force me to sell my property. My family's future is at stake, and I'm committed to seeing this through, no matter how difficult it gets. Update 2: the legal process has officially begun. As we waited for the court date, tension filled the air. In the courtroom, both sides presented their cases. Emily portrayed herself as a struggling mother, determined to secure her daughter's future, accompanied by her lawyer. They gave a detailed account of her financial hardships. Emily's emotional statement was filled with stories of sacrifice, including long hours at work and unwavering dedication to Lily. She painted herself as a mother who had done everything she could, mentioning job hunts and applications for financial aid and scholarships. Emily's lawyer portrayed me as a rich, callous landlord who prioritized money over a young girl's dreams. They suggested I knew of Emily's struggles but exploited her situation by charging exorbitant rent. Then came the most shocking twist. Emily presented a family friend as a witness, claiming they overheard a conversation where I supposedly offered to sell the property to pay for Lily's college. I was in complete shock. My lawyer, Matthew, vehemently denied this, stating that no such conversation ever took place. He chose to challenge the witness directly. Under cross-examination, Matthew questioned the family friend extensively, aiming to expose inconsistencies in their testimony. He asked about the time, date, and location of the alleged conversation. The family friend struggled to provide specific details or any concrete evidence, such as emails or texts. Matthew then presented evidence that directly contradicted Emily's account. He showed emails and texts exchanged between Emily and me around the time the alleged agreement was made. These messages made it clear that she had never mentioned selling the property to pay for Lily's schooling. Instead, they revealed that Emily was pressuring me to sell the house. Furthermore, a neighbor testified that Emily paid lower rent than anyone else in the area. My attorney retrieved receipts from other local properties to support this claim. Matthew argued that the neighbor's testimony and the absence of any written or electronic evidence about the alleged promise made Emily's testimony inadmissible. We then focused on proving that Emily had intentionally tried to damage my reputation on social media. Matthew presented Emily's posts, claiming that I was a heartless and uncaring landlord who was preventing Lily from achieving her dreams. These posts were filled with emotional appeals and outright lies. We pointed out that these posts were designed to portray her as a struggling mother using emotional blackmail to pressure me into selling my house. We presented screenshots of comments from people who had seen Emily's posts. Some of these locals had developed a negative view of me because of the misinformation. These comments ranged from sympathy for her plight to outright accusations of me being a selfish landlord. Along with the social media data, we included witness statements from my children, who said that Emily's posts had caused them to be bullied at school. They described how classmates harassed and name-called them. Repeating the untrue statements, my lawyer argued that the bullying my children experienced was directly tied to Emily's false accusations on social media. Emily's intentional, false story had harmed my family's well-being, in addition to damaging my reputation. This evidence clearly showed how Emily's social media behavior affected my children in real life. I continue to believe that justice will be done as the legal process continues. The truth has been revealed, and the evidence presented has exposed the false accusations against me. The court will recognize the manipulation and deliver a just resolution. Third update: the legal proceedings have made the past month incredibly stressful. As my attorney began to present testimony and supporting documentation, it became more apparent that Emily's allegations were unfounded. After the testimony and evidence, the court declared its decision and ruled in my favor. I was incredibly relieved and grateful that the judge saw through all of the unfounded allegations. Emily was found guilty of defamation and ordered to compensate me for the damage she had caused to my reputation, including back rent and any additional pain. In addition, a restraining order was granted to prevent Emily from speaking negatively about me or my family in the future. I saw Emily seated next to her attorney as the court case came to a close. As I looked at her daughter, Lily, I couldn't help but feel that her mother's entitlement had ruined her chances. Justice has been served and this nightmare is over. Everyone learned the value of standing up for themselves and refusing to allow the outrageous demands of others to undermine our moral convictions. Now that my home and livelihood are secure, I can move forward with renewed confidence. I want to thank everyone who has supported me throughout this process. My family and I endured significant emotional hardship and stress. But in the end, the truth prevailed. Fourth update: Emily has been successfully silenced by the restraining order following my court victory, and the damages she was required to pay for defamation offered some measure of relief. I served Emily with an eviction notice, and she and her daughter were forced to move out. Even though their situation is still difficult, I realized I was no longer in charge. Although I felt sorry for her daughter's uncertain prospects, the truth was that Emily's audacious request for assistance had demonstrated the level of her entitlement to everyone. Soon after, the court ordered her to remove her defamatory comments from social media. Everyone saw the full extent of Emily's lies. Lily unexpectedly contacted me to apologize, which was the last I heard from her. I had watched Lily grow up, and she had always been a wonderful, respectful child. But I stopped communicating with them when her mother began making false accusations against me. She wanted to contact me after her mother publicly lost it, which startled me. She expressed sincere regret in her message for her mother's actions. She acknowledged that her mother's actions had harmed both of our families and thanked us for our understanding and patience during the process. Lily also mentioned that they had moved to a more reasonably priced neighborhood and that she had decided to continue her education at a nearby college. She told me that she had begged her mother to back off in a conversation she had with her following the conclusion of the judicial proceedings. Lily stated, "I'm determined to secure my own future without making any bold demands." Lily? Because of the false claims made by her entitled mother. I felt sorry for her at such a young age. I told her that it was great that she was taking charge of her own life. Everyone deserves a second chance. Our lives have adapted to a new normal. The burden of the false allegations and the harassment has been lifted, and we were able to get in touch with our kids' school in addressing the bullying they experienced. At last, our family may now proceed in harmony. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you. So, after hearing everything, do you think I handled this situation correctly? I tried to be reasonable, but Emily's entitlement and blatant lies left me with no other choice. Was taking her to court the right decision? Or should I have tried to find another solution? What would you have done in my place? I'm genuinely curious to hear your thoughts and opinions on this whole mess.